Nonetheless, she's got New Hampshire's moderate Republican governor. I don't even like to call him that. He's a governor. He speaks for himself. Chris Sununu. So, you know what happens. You don't bow to Trump. Here it comes.
He's like a spoiled brat. He's hurt himself so badly, so he's endorsed somebody that can't win, has no chance of winning, and he's out there working, but he's a selfish guy. He could have won the Senate at that time. Now he couldn't get elected dog catcher, but he could have won the Senate, and we would have had a majority. He's a selfish guy who can't get elected anything right now, and it's a shame.
Chris Sununu swept in to the governor's house, okay? Swept into the office, okay? You know who else calls him spoiled and that he's a selfish guy? No one. So we bring in the governor right now. Look, you know what this is about. He just picked the wrong criticism of you. You know what I mean? What he should have done was he should have said Sununu should have run himself instead of backing someone if he thinks he knows so well what the country needs. But that's just me being bitter that you didn't get into the race because I thought you would have added to the dialogue. What do you make of the former president coming at you, and what does it tell you about your choice of Nikki Haley?
Well, look, to your point, there's a lot of things to criticize me on, but he picked all the wrong ones. Look, nobody really cares. At the end of the day, what you saw him do in New Hampshire, right, he had this very extreme rhetoric with what he was saying with illegal immigrants and all of that sort of thing. That's to stir up his base because he's nervous he's going to lose.
Poisoning the blood of our country.
Awful. I mean, just awful, right? Nobody gets on board with that kind of rhetoric. As a strong conservative, I want the border closed. I want things secure. I want the wall built, all of that stuff. But when he goes to that level of rhetoric, he's really talking to that select group of extremists because he's afraid he's going to start losing the margins. He sees Nikki Haley surging here. The numbers are very real. I mean, they've moved very aggressively just in the last 10 days, and I think they're going to continue to do so. You know, also, when he's talking about the legal immigration issue, what he's also trying to do is remind people, by the way, I didn't get it done. I told all you Republicans I was going to build a wall, I was going to secure the border, I was going to get Mexico to pay for it. Didn't do any of that. So let's just ignore that over there. Don't ask me on a debate stage anymore because I don't want to answer questions. So I'll just hit you with extreme rhetoric here. And it's all done out of fear. So I think that's the vulnerability that he's showing. You know, and at these rallies, if you've seen them, he's not the same guy in 2016. He doesn't have his fastball. He just kind of drones on for 90 minutes, and there's very little excitement. Did you see the crowd in those clips you just showed? Looked like they were all about to fall asleep. This is not the same guy, and there's vulnerability there. He's not campaigning. He's not on the ground. Nikki's doing great, consolidating the vote. It's going to be close, I think. But if everybody, as I've always said, if everybody who's eligible to vote in the New Hampshire primary voted, should win huge. Now, you never get 100% voter turnout, of course, but the more people that come out and vote, the more opportunity it is to hit that reset button on the whole election.
So, all right, one more question to you. And, yeah, you're right. The crowd, maybe they're just exhausted. Either they're exhausted from winning, which I don't think so, or it's just it never ends. It's always hot, poisoning the blood of immigrants. If you don't have immigrants, you don't have Trump, okay, especially on his father's side. You don't have his wife. You don't have Governor Sununu. And fortunately, you wouldn't have me. But on all those other ones, I'm sure you still want them. All right, now here's my other question. How do you get centrist Republicans, independents, and Democrats to vote for Haley in your state when there is a concern, and that's why I keep inviting her on the show so she can answer for herself, but a concern that she is an extreme conservative in moderate guise?
Yeah. So look, you have kind of the Democrats saying you're not tough enough. You're not tough enough on Trump. You have conservatives saying you're too tough on Trump. So she's really guided her own path in terms of how the vote comes out. Democrats cannot participate in our process, but the undeclared, which is 40% of our population, 30% of Republicans. So 70% of those who can vote in New Hampshire are allowed to participate in this process. And they're coming out. I think they're going to come out in record numbers. Of the total votes that we get in the Republican primary, upwards of 40 to 45% could be undeclared voters. Some of them are hardcore conservatives. Some are more moderate. They kind of run the spectrum. But she caters to them all. And the vast majority don't want to see Trump there. They just don't want to see him there. So if you have a passion to say, hey, let's move on as conservatives, let's bring in that next generation of leadership, you're going to come out and participate in that process. Everyone's galvanizing. The DeSantis folks the voters are coming on. The Chris Christie voters are coming on. Everyone's really galvanizing around Nikki over the next 5 weeks.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of NewsNation's fact-driven coverage.